Hi, this is Thomas with Believe in the Run.
This is Robbe with Believe in the Run.
And Robbie, we're talking about one of your favorite shoes today.
Yeah, one of my most favorite shoes of the last couple of years, the Adidas Takumi Sen 10.
All right, first up, why don't you just give people an idea of what this shoe's about and why it's one of your favorites?
Okay, so this is in the Adizero line of Adidas shoes, which is their performance line. They're more premium trainers meant for their elite athletes, but anyone who's trying to go fast.
Then it's going to include the Pro 4, the Prime X. Who else is in there?
Pro 4 soon, hopefully, maybe.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, jumping the gun.
Yeah.
The Evo 1, all of those shoes are in the Adizero lineup.
Yeah, and so this is a 5K, 10K shoe or tempo shoe meant for faster paces, of course. Very lightweight, very snappy, very sleek on the foot. Looks like a racing shoe, feels like a racing shoe. My love for this shoe goes back to at least version 8, which is...
Not that, that's a Prime X.
Prime X. Here it is. I was like, that seems very large.
I think as soon as it went to the Lightstrike.
Yeah, when it moved to the Lightstrike Pro, this shoe, I immediately fell in love with it. It just felt so good under feet, snappy, responsive, all those words that mean it feels good when you're going fast. Same thing for the 9. There's an upper change to this shoe, but largely it was the exact same midsole,
same
outsole,
rods, everything.
Everything. So nothing changed there. I always felt the shoe ran a little bit long, so I went a half size down in it.
I was fine. It fits me true to size, but I'm one of those people that's like right between 10 and 10 and a half.
Yeah, so again, just a great shoe. I felt like as far in the tempo range of shoes, especially those plated ones in the $180 range, this one was just a step above everything else. So now we move on to the 10. Now there's been a couple changes to the 10. The most obvious change is the EnergyRod structure in the midsole, which now has like a pretzel-like structure.
I like to call it the octopus.
The octopus. It's the Kraken. Release the Kraken.
I like the Kraken.
It is the same exact design that's found in the Adidas Pro 3. So that's
different materials though.
Yeah, exactly. So instead of before in this shoe, it had like 4 separate kind of rods and then a separated heel segment. So this is, yeah, exactly, the pretzel Kraken octopus shape.
Yeah, but what makes this different than the previous version, the rods?
Right, so the different material now is that this has a glass fiber rod.
Which we thought the other one did.
Right, because this looks more plasticky, but apparently these were carbon infused and somehow we may have missed that or just been visually confused.
Yeah, I don't know what carbon is anymore.
Yeah, it's the definitions of carbon are...
Carbon blends, carbon this.
Carbonite.
Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, this one looks more like carbon, but you're telling me it's fiberglass.
Right.
Or glass fiber,
I mean,
however you want to call
I
it.
triple checked this like 1,000 times.
I know.
So
He was like calling people. It's
Yeah.
like, are you sure? Hello?
You sure about that?
Yeah.
So what happened is it feels different, I'll be honest. First, let's go to the upper. We should probably go to the upper.
Let's start that. We'll get to our feelings about how running it.
All right.
Right, this new upper is really nice. I actually think this is an improvement on the shoe.
Yeah, I think this was something that Adidas needed to do in this shoe. I hope it happens in the Adidas Pro 4. The past racing uppers have just been a little bit too stiff and structured. You'll see this one kind of collapses. It's a little bit softer, even more breathable. I mean, this is an open mesh right here. And I feel like they did a good job with it. The tongue now has some padding on it, which is good because what do you call it, Thomas?
Lace bite.
The lace bite was a little tough. I think it'd been using that Jazzercise.
Yeah.
The Jazzercise tool to strengthen its bite in the last couple versions. So it's nice to have this pillow there.
Getting the lacing right is a little on the difficult side, and first couple runs, I did have a little bit of heel lift. Now, I was able to do runner's loop and it kind of took care of it, but it's also, I feel like it's just the stiffness of the bottom in the beginning kind of like is naturally going to make your heel want to pop out a little bit. But once you get going on it, I felt like that went away.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's always been a thing with the Takumi. There's just a little bit of heel lift there. And the lacings, as you can see, we use the heel lock lacing here.
It's called the runner's loop.
The runner, yeah, all the things.
Yeah.
So call it what you will. The lacing in all the Adios models or the Adizero models has for some time now been very difficult to dial in.
I'm not sure if the holes are too small or the lace themselves are too frictiony, but like to get the adjustments, and then you can see there's a ton of holes on there. Once you get the fit right though, I feel like it's great.
Yeah, it just takes a lot to get there. I know even before the Boston Marathon this past year, I had to basically skip a hole because I was getting pressure on the top of my foot in the training runs leading up to it. I just couldn't figure it out. You got it. Freddie Mercury over here.
Let's talk about this Lightstrike Pro, because while it's still Lightstrike Pro, it feels a little bit different. And I don't know if it's because of the rods and the way that the rubber's on this shoe, or if it is actually different.
Yeah, I mean, Adidas has said that the Lightstrike Pro formulation has been tweaked a little bit in this version. To me, it feels just... it still feels bouncy and stuff, but it's just not as bouncy or fun as the previous two versions.
The way I like to describe it is the first two versions were kind of fun because they're loose, they're flexible. You kind of felt like both in this direction and in this direction, you were getting a lot more play in this shoe.
I mean, you can see...
So like boom, boom, boom.
You can just see how much more flexible the 9 is.
Than this.
Over the, yeah.
So it kind of settles everything down and kind of puts it, it's nice when you're in full stride and you're trying to go and you don't want any wasted energy or anything like that, but you do lose some of what I would consider almost a fun factor.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what I would compare it to. It's just, I felt like this shoe was so fun. It just had that extra pep that separated it from the other ones. This is still a great tempo shoe. It just seems like it more falls into line with, say, the Nike Streak Fire, the Hoka Cielo Road. Kind of just feels similar to those, which are still great shoes, but I felt like that's what separated the 9 before. It was a little bit of extra magic. Yeah.
Yeah. So the other thing that I noticed, Robbie, is this outer lateral edge, it kind of pops up a little bit, which forces your foot inwards. Now, the only reason I could think Adidas is doing that is so that when you roll through your stride, you're pushed off your big toe when you're going at full stride or going at a faster pace. Now, if you're going at a slower pace, it's going to kind of push your ankle in and cause you to pronate a little bit. But when you're going at a fast pace, I feel like it's doing the job where it's like rolls you right off your big toe to get you that power.
Yeah, I mean, you can just feel it when you step into it. It's leaning you towards the medial side a little bit.
Yeah, I did notice that after a while, it did tame out and it wasn't as noticeable.
Okay.
But it definitely in the first couple runs, I was like, huh, that's an interesting sensation.
And another slight ding I forgot to mention about the upper is that it's not, the tongue isn't gusseted, and so you really have to be intentional about making sure it lays flat the whole way through it, because it does tend to curl up on the sides there. So just keep that in mind, because that could create some irritation later on.
All right. So one of the things I do love about this shoe is it's lightweight.
Yeah, I mean, this shoe is 6.9 ounces for US men's 9, so I mean, we're talking very lightweight, just disappears in the foot, feels like a dart.
Fast turnover. Continental rubber, kicks some butt. What's the stack on this, Robbie?
So it's the exact same as the previous version, which is 33 in the heel, 27 in the forefoot.
It's funny that we call that sort of minimal these days.
Right.
But yeah,
it's
it would have been a couple years ago been a pretty high stack. Now the crazy thing also is there's a lot of you out there that are like, I don't want the max cushion, I don't want the max stack height, I want a shoe that feels light and nimble underfoot. This is your shoe then.
Yeah, I mean, this is a good balance between all those things. It still feels great, still picks up well. It keeps the same price point at $180. So I personally...
Robbie, if you could find the other versions at a discount?
If I can find the 9 on a discount, which you can in some sizes, I think for like $90 at some point, dude, you gotta just go for that. To me, there's not much difference, and in some ways I feel like this has stepped back a little bit. So especially if you've been wanting to try this shoe for a while, definitely go that route.
All right.
But again, if we're giving this a rating, I'm giving this a yellow personally. I just feel like it's a slight step back from the 8 and the 9. But if we gave green to shoes like the Cielo Road, which it's easily as good as those shoes. So it's like just
I think
on a
personally
personal
for
level.
Robbie's relationship with the shoe,
Yeah.
this is kind of like a, hey, let's just take a break and see how this relationship's going.
Yeah, I like that.
And he's kind of like, okay. And he's in the back of his mind, he's still saving the number in his phone.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we'll see what happens
You
when
never know.
when the next one comes out, 11 comes out, and be like, yeah, see, peace out.
If you're drinking
For me, yeah.
drinking late one night, you never know what could happen.
For me, for the intention of the shoe, for the way it's constructed, the way it fits, the rubber on the outsole, the durability, the fast feel, I think it nails the things it's trying to achieve. I agree with Robbie that it's losing a little bit of that magic fun that the other one had, a little bit of the flexibility that I liked. I have to give it a green though for what its intention is. Like it's not a shoe that missed the brief. It's nailing the brief on what Adidas is looking for in a tempo 5K, 10K shoe.
And again, this is also tested by their elite athletes in East Africa. So testing scenario might be a little different than like a middle-aged average runner in Baltimore. So
Wait, I thought you were from East Africa.
yeah, in spirit.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, technically I'll give it a green. I would agree with Robbie on emotionally, I would give it a yellow. And I feel the same way. It's kind of like, I like this. I think it's really good. I'm not tempted to continue to go back to it the way that the original Takumi, I actually preferred this one the most. That I'm not tempted to go back to it over and over. It's like we did the review, we put in the miles. I know what the shoe is for. I like it, but it's just like, let's move on.
Yeah. So that's it for this review. Make sure you subscribe and like this video if you liked it. And check out all our other videos. We have a most exciting running shoes of 2024 video coming up, or it's out. I don't know.
Hopefully it's out before this.
Yeah. And
Carl.
we'll see. And yeah, I'm excited to see what else is coming from Adidas. Some cool stuff later this year for sure. And yeah, make sure you listen to our podcast, The Drop and Fuel for the Soul, two podcasts that will enrich your life.
And there's a little button on this video. You can see it's kind of got a thumbs up.
I already did that part.
Oh, you did do it?
Yeah.
All right. So Robbie described that to you already. I'm going to tell you, do it again. If you can do it twice, that's awesome. No, don't do it twice because that'll eliminate the first one. Do it 3 times. And then
Don't cancel us.
Subscribe to the channel would be great.
All right. Thanks for watching.